Oh yes, it's expected to be Test cricket at its finest. India versus Australia World Test Championship Final 2023 live on SportsMax and SportsMax Cricket. Day 1, Wednesday, starting at 4:30 a.m. in Jamaica, 5:30 in the rest of the Caribbean. Yeah, arguably the best two teams of the last decade, Australia and India, facing off in that final, and it will be played at the Oval in London, England. The final is set to be one of the last major chances at glory in the longest form of the game for many of the stars who will be taking part in the showpiece game. For Australia, Steve Smith, Usman Khawaja, Nathan Lyon, David Warner and Mitch Starc are all over the age of 33, as are Virat Kohli, Ravindra Jadeja, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Ravi Ashwin, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami for India. All factors considered, this game is setting up to be an epic one. Still with us to preview the encounter is Fazir Mohammed. Fazir, how hyped are you for this World Test Championship final?
Reasonably hyped, because it's a bittersweet sort of feeling, Ricardo. Sorry to pour cold water so soon on your build-up, but yes, it's a big deal. You're quite right. The two top teams, the most consistent teams in Test cricket. But my concern about this championship final, because this is being tried. You may recall in 2005 where the ICC went with the experiment of the top-ranked team then taking on the rest of the world in an official test. It never really got off the ground. There was a no contest in Australia. Australia won comfortably. Now we have the second edition of an ICC World Test Championship final. And yes, you would really like to see a cut and thrust, really serious contest. The disappointment is that it's not a 3-test series or it's not a 5-test series. And we know the reasons why. The crowded schedule, T20 franchises, IPL, Ashes coming up in just a few days' time, all of that. The reason there is concern, though, as much as I'm looking forward to a really keen test match contest, is that this could become the template for the lesser lights of international cricket, like the West Indies, in the sense that only India, Australia, and England play 4 or 5 test series, and everyone else, as is almost already happening, will have to be settled with 2 test series or even just a one-off test when you go on tour. And that is going to be to the detriment of test cricket across the board. But as far as the contest, let's hope the weather is good, because I think we really want to see the sort of contest that lives up to the billing of a World Test Championship.
Yeah, but first, given the fact that over the period we've already seen these teams, Australia, India, battle over 4-match test series, isn't it fitting that the championship decider comes down to this one-off test rather than having to go through an entire series again?
Well, I would have liked to see a series, but again, it's the reality of the test match game. This is why test match cricket is really almost an anachronism in the modern environment. We started SportsMax today looking ahead to the NBA Championship Finals Game 3. It's 1-1. And in Game 3, the longest it is going to go, even if it goes into overtime, is maybe 3 hours, which is perfect for television coverage, and that's where the revenue is, that's where the eyeballs are. In test match cricket, you're talking about 5 days and 6-7 hours per day, which almost doesn't square with the realities of the modern viewer, the modern sports fan, and so on, which is why it just seems so unattuned to the current environment. But again, we saw them in 4 test matches not so long ago, but those were in Indian conditions, raging turners, different challenges. The Oval, it's coming into summer, it's the late spring, so it's not going to be the dry, flat, bouncy surface that you would usually get at the Oval towards the end of August, early September, which is usually when test matches are played at that venue. In fact, this is the earliest that a test match is being played at the Oval in London. So yeah, there's an element of the unknown, but as you mentioned in your introduction, so many players, so well established, and probably wanting to finish off their careers, if they are not too far away, with a World Test Championship medal to add to what they've already achieved.
Yeah, given everything that you have just said, Faz, and everything that we know going into this match, and of course what we also don't know, which team do you think is better placed to win this game?
I will give Australia the edge.
Ooh.
Because
Australia. You've burst Lance's bubble.
He said he'll always pick once India is playing. He's picking India. Speak for yourself, Lance.
Burst Lance's bubble, Faz.
No, he hasn't burst my bubble, because what he's actually doing is to showing the respect to Australia that the Australians deserve. That's how they play their cricket, and no matter who they are playing, you have to respect Australia's chances. So I think it's an open game, Faz, but unlike you, I give India the edge. I want to ask a quick question, though. The Aussies will be without Josh Hazlewood because of injury, and the Indians without Jasprit Bumrah, who has been one of their most potent fast bowlers. Which of the two is the bigger hit for either team, bigger blow?
I think Bumrah is the bigger blow because he's phenomenal. He's a freak. You look at the pace that he generates from just a few paces, and his lethal accuracy and that raw pace at the over, whether it's May, June, whatever. But I think he's the bigger loss. Australia have I think, enough additional resources to back up the absence of Hazlewood. So to answer your specific question, Lance, I'm sorry to have burst the bubble, if in fact I did. But I think that India will suffer more for the loss of Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, another thing that the Aussies may have in their favour is that the nucleus of the Indian side, well, pretty much the entire Indian side, are coming off IPL cricket. T20 cricket, so there's going to be an adjustment for them for the red ball game, just a matter of weeks at the end of after the IPL closes.
That is correct. Although, as we've seen, and it's been happening a lot more, and that's another lesson for West Indian cricketers and our Caribbean cricketers, the ability to adapt very quickly. We see a lot of Indian cricketers, the younger players, Ishan, Kishan, and so many others, walking out of IPL into a test team and delivering almost immediately. And yes, there will be the occasional moments when they will struggle, but these are the demands of the modern game. Australia are going into an Ashes series without a single tour match, and that has never happened before since they started touring that part of the world 140-something years ago. So again, this is a new environment, and you would think that given the competitive environment in India, the intense level of competitive competition for places in an Indian test team, that nobody's going to use the excuse of just having come out of 9 weeks of IPL.
Yeah, where do you think this match will be won or lost, Faz, for either team? Last week, I think it was Steve Smith who spoke about the quality of Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli for the Indians and how important it will be to limit those two batsmen. Where else do you think could decide this test match?
I think it's the quality of the bowling. It takes us to an adage that may be outdated. Bowlers win matches, batsmen save them. Because that would have been in the day before limited over cricket when batsmen win your matches. But really, it's going to come down to the quality of the bowling. Nathan Lyon, he's 18 away from 500 test wickets. The spin as well. Will India choose Ravi Ashwin together with Jadeja as an option, given that they don't have Jasprit Bumrah? Will they look to really bolster the pace attack? So I think that it's the bowling that will make the difference in this test match.
Yeah, and you know, we've bemoaned the support for red ball cricket here in the region, but quite often when you see the game played in Australia and England as well, the crowd support is great. Given that this will be at a neutral venue though, what type of crowd support are you expecting for this match?
Ricardo, India are playing in England, so it's not a neutral venue. It's a virtual home match.
You're right. You're right.
You can rest assured that there's going to be a sea of blue and orange and saffron and white and whatever when that first ball is bowled. There might be a smattering of Aussies around, but it will be all about Indian support for this test match in South London.
Yeah, test cricket is going to seem alive for the next 5 days, I think, for this World Test Championship final. Faz, thank you very much. We'll be chatting throughout the course of the test match. And of course, we look forward to see what will happen on Wednesday's opening day.
Take care.
All right, take care. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone. The test match will not be decided tomorrow, but the UEFA Conference League will be, and we'll be chatting about that in the show. Stay with us.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.